Hey folks, Randy here, Dual and Cut and Trim. So I wanted to tell you, because I've been kind of negative about lead generation sites like Yelp, Home Advisor, Lawn Love, places like that. So I wanted to tell you about the one that I actually like, just so we're not being completely negative all the time. And the one that I really like and use very frequently is Amazon Services. I've actually been on Amazon Services pretty much since it was first formed. They actually reached out to me, sent me an email. I don't know how they got my email address, but they sent me an email asking if I wanted to be a part of this program that they were trying out. And so I said, yeah, sure, you know, and there was a whole process I had to go through. You know, they had to like double check on my reviews and make sure there weren't any other outstanding issues, make sure I was a legitimate company, things like that. And then I actually got to be a part of, I'm sure I was one of many people, but I got to be a part of them kind of working out the kinks in the system. This was before anybody could join. It was an invitation only. And so it was like, you know, figuring out how to get the pricing structures correct, you know, just like working out the weird kinks. Like sometimes you couldn't put the price you wanted because Amazon thought it might be too low or too high, and, you know, just working out that kind of stuff. So I really like Amazon Home Services for my business, and it's because they let you be in complete control of the process, and you don't pay for anything unless you actually do the work and complete it. So the way it works is Amazon gives you a list of services, and I'll tell you right now, only thing I offer on Amazon is lawn mowing. I don't offer anything else, and I'll explain why in a bit. But the way I do it is they give you a lawn range, like, you know, 1,000 to 5,000 square feet, 5,000 to 10,000, 10 to 20, 20 to 40, like, you know, stuff like that. And you have to give a price for a lawn in that size. So, you know, for a 10,000 square foot lawn, I think I'm at like 35 bucks, I think. And I can't remember how that converts to acreage as you go on up. But you set the price, and then the customer, when they're looking for a lawn service on Amazon, it'll show your price, and they can choose to pick it. And then the customer sets when they want you to come. So they'll give you a couple of options for when you can show up. Amazon wants the customer to be there, but honestly, it doesn't matter, because you're supposed to get a signature from them. But if the customer's not there, it's not a big deal to just let Amazon know, hey, they weren't there, and, you know, get it taken care of. So once you set your prices, the customer, you know, decides they want to use you. They give you some options. I never deviate from my schedule when it comes to Amazon. I won't make special exceptions for Amazon customers. So, which means I'll only service you if you're in the area if you're willing to be serviced when I'm in that area. So if you're like in Annapolis, I'm not going to service you on a Tuesday, because I don't go to Annapolis on Tuesdays. I'm not going to make a special trip. That would make it so that I wasn't making any money on this job. So if the customer says they want me to come on a certain day, and if I can't come on that day, I'll respond back to the customer and say, hey, I can't come that day, but I could come this day. And, you know, just kind of go from there. So when the customer accepts the job and you schedule it, you have to have the Amazon app on your phone. It's a selling services app. And basically, when you're on your way to the job, you let the customer know. Like the system sends them a text message when you let them know. And then when you arrive at the job, you have to clock in. You do the work, clock back out. Amazon used to make you take a picture of the property. Now they make you take a selfie, which was, you know, a real pain in the butt the first time I had to do that, because my phone wouldn't upload, and Amazon ended up getting like a really goofy selfie by the time it was all said and done. But you have to have a smartphone in order to do it. There's no way around that. You have to have that. And then Amazon usually, I'm not sure exactly what the cutoff is, but they usually will process payments on Fridays, and which of course, you know, is a weekend, and there's a couple business days that don't exist in there. So usually if they process it on a Friday, I get paid on Monday. Every once in a while I'll have something weird where it won't get processed that Friday, it gets processed the Friday after, but I've never had an issue getting paid by Amazon. I believe actually, even if the customer disputes the transaction or you know, reverses the charge with their bank, Amazon will still pay you regardless. So you don't have to worry about getting screwed over with them, which is kind of nice. Actually, Amazon's in the process of setting up a subscription system where customers would be able to just, you know, get on a weekly schedule or a bi-weekly schedule with you, and that's going to be pretty cool too. Just because it gives you that security blanket. You know, you don't have to worry about whether or not the customer is going to pay you, because Amazon's already got it covered. So I mean, so it is kind of nice working with them. The thing you do have to keep in mind though is if you're going to work with Amazon, you have to adjust your prices. Amazon initially offered me an introductory rate of 10%. They took 10% of whatever I made. They recently bumped that up to 20%. So you need to make sure your prices reflect that, because you don't want to lose money working with Amazon. So if I have a $35 lawn, I need to tack an extra 20% onto that yard. So instead of it being 35, it'll be 42, you know, or a $50 yard will have to be a $60 yard in order for me to make sure I'm making my money. So I mean, they're very easy to deal with. A couple of things to look out for: only offer things on Amazon that you can quote 100%. Okay, because it is really easy to get burned on there. You know, customer could say they want 2 yards of mulch, but they want it spread over. But you get to the property, and 2 yards of mulch is going to cover maybe a quarter of the thing. And that's a major pain in the butt, and you lose a lot of time, because then you got to update the quote and see if the customer will accept it. Another thing you should never, ever, ever do with Amazon Home Services: do not offer to do estimates. Do not do it. Do not do it. I don't know if I've said this clearly enough where you understand what I'm trying to say. Do not offer estimates on Amazon. There are too many tire kickers on there. I offered estimates for a while on Amazon, and I think I did somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 or 70. I never got a single one of them, because they're kicking tires, and they know you probably can't give a good estimate. They just want a ballpark, you know. They just want to know how much it would cost. So you're going to waste a ton of time if you offer estimates on Amazon. So other than that, oh, and the other thing you got to keep in mind, but this usually is not an issue. Customers almost always underestimate how big their yard is. You know, but usually it's not a problem, but you just got to keep an eye on it. You know, most customers seem to think their yard is like 1,000 square feet, which is, you know, that's nuts. And so you just have to make sure with some of the larger properties that the customer has listed the correct property size, so that you don't get burned when you go to do the work. When the customer requests your job and requests for you to come out, you'll be supplied the home address, so you can pull it up on your system and just make sure the property falls into the scope that that price point, you know, is for. So you just have to make sure that doesn't happen, because that's a major pain in the tuchus. Speaking of pains in the tuchus, there's a guy standing in the middle of the road. I think this guy might. All right, bro, you're making us lawn guys look bad, man. Crying out loud, just stick in the middle of the road. But yeah, that's it. Amazon is a great company to work with. You can make a lot of money with them, especially in the spring. And it's definitely worth it, man. Definitely worth it. So I am at the place that I'm trying to go to, and I will talk to you guys again later.